guys, some people just know how to make an entrance. Before we get into this, please allow me to get some housekeeping out of the way. Showtime, pay-per-view, and most valuable promotions present Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva, Saturday, October 29th, right here from the Gila River Arena in Glendale, Arizona, just outside of Phoenix. Tickets go on sale tomorrow. If you can't remember that, they go on sale Wednesday. If you can't remember that, on September 14th, tickets are available only at Ticketmaster.com. Paul versus Silva pits international superstar and serial risk taker Jake the Problem Child Paul versus UFC legend and professional boxer Anderson the Spider Silva. Silva represents the biggest challenge of Paul's career. An opponent, critics, and analysts said Paul would never fight. Paul versus Silva is going to be the biggest challenge of Paul's career. See, you always want to go through your notes because sometimes you get the same thing put in there twice. Now I've got to tell you this bout, and this might be the most important part. This is going to be contested. Boxing rules, catch weight of 187 pounds over 8 rounds. This will be available on pay-per-view, cable and satellite, and streaming on the Showtime app via showtime.com/PPV and internationally on Fight TV. Now that we've got that done, can we get down to a little fun? Guys, I've got to tell you, when I brought them out, I said the favorite, Anderson Silva, and I talk about the underdog, Jake Paul. Those numbers matter to me. I want to do a good job up here. Ariel's not here. I'm filling in. Got to have my thumb on the community.
Chael, you're doing a great job, man. You're like an encyclopedia of information.
Very sweet of you. And Anderson, would you like to pay me any compliments? All right. I appreciate that, but you know what? I love to know what you guys are thinking too. And we'll, fighters up here, we're all going to tell you the same thing. We're going to tell you we don't care what they say on social media, but in our hearts, we care. It matters. We hear it all. We try to put on a tough face. The things I was seeing on social media, and I juxtaposed that against the line. The line at one point had Jake Paul a favorite 2-1. Within 24 hours, Anderson Silva was the favorite 2-1. Right now, when you betting aficionados don't think you have to correct me, it is as close to even money as you can get. Negative 153 plus 110. This thing is dead even. The comments online versus people that are parting with their hard-earned money. This is very fascinating. Now, Jake, if I may start with you. This is not a match that's 3 months away. This is not like most announcements. You guys are fighting on October 29th. I looked at my calendar this morning. That's in 5.5 weeks. So this isn't about how are you going to train. It's about how are you training, how is it going, and what do you have prepared for the Spider?
Man, I'm feeling so good. Obviously, I had 2 fights where my opponents backed out this whole entire year. So I've been in training camp basically the whole entire year. So I'm feeling really good, in shape, ready. If the fight was this Saturday, I would be ready. But October 29th, like you said, it's going to come up fast, and this is one of the shortest training camps we've ever done, but I'm prepared, man, and super excited to get in there, and the pre-sale tickets are live now, guys, so if you got, someone already said he already got their tickets. I just want to make a PSA for my fans out there that these are going to sell out fast, so if you want to get the pre-sale tickets, use the link at Ticketmaster and use the code BETTER, because they're going to sell out fast. I want you guys to be able to get good seats for cheap.
And Anderson, the way this was presented through the media is as though this was a surprise. This was a last-minute fight for you. I follow everything you said, and I have for 20 years. And many times you will say, don't worry about the opponent. I just focus on my training. So when this call and when this opportunity came, the rumors were out there and this was dangled. Was this something that you were already preparing for?
So, yeah, I continue training hard every day in my life. I never stop. Now my focus is only in boxing. I help my kids train in Muay Thai and kickboxing, Jiu-Jitsu, but my focus is only in boxing. And Robson Conceição is the Brazilian champion fight this week and come to help me. A lot of friends come to Brazil to help me. And I don't stop training, you know. I keep my training every day, and I feel necessary to respect my fans and continue training every day, you know, and I never stop.
Guys, I got to tell you all, we were in LA yesterday, we got a packed house. We're turning fans away around the block. There was a group in the back. They were what we would call hecklers. They were trying to give Jake a hard time. But guess what these hecklers were doing? They were begging him to fight certain opponents. They were in the back throwing out names. Jake, fight this guy. Jake, fight that guy. And now we hear rumors. It could be Jake with Diaz. There's rumors if Anderson gets the jump on Jake, Anderson goes into Logan. I'll start a rumor now. If Jake gets the jump on Anderson, he takes on Anderson's son. Now, we'll see where all of that goes. But what I do want to ask you, Jake, is when you were trying to break into this community, when you were doing everything you can, when you're exposing yourself and showing them, I am one of you, and they come in and they begin to beg you to take on certain opponents, how does that make you feel?
Payday. Payday. They want payday. Hey, but you know, that's the way, that's the name of the game. People want to see me lose, and that's what I've built my career off of. So, you know, I get it. I get the hate, and I've just had to establish myself, work hard in the gym. And I've been fortunate because I went to the doctors, and they said I had an enlarged moose knuckle for a fist. So I've just been knocking everyone out, man, and it's might be scientific because of the way I was born.
All right, guys, I can actually see his knuckle. It is actually a moose knuckle. Yeah, I believe that. You don't want to get hit with that thing. Let me share something with you guys. I was thinking about what Jake is doing, young man in his 20s, getting new in the sport, gonna go fight one of these legends. I put myself in his shoes, right? The golden rule of life. If I was his age and I was going to do that, I would have had to stand opposite of Iron Mike Tyson. Anderson Silva, if he was to do that when he was 26, he would have had to stand opposite George Foreman. And Anderson, I just want to know, have you thought about it from that perspective? The risk that Jake is taking, the courage that he's having to show, you would have had to fight Foreman, just to put it in perspective.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the good question. But I think, what do you think, Jake?
Nah, I mean, this could be a changing of the guard, or you could win and, you know, silence the kid that everyone wants to be silenced. So I do think this is iconic in that sense, and you're a fucking legend, bro, and you're good as shit. So it's gonna be a tough fight. It's gonna be a tough fight.
Yeah, absolutely, it's a tough fight. But guys, listen. First of all, I need to say thank you for everybody to come. You know, it's a hard job for everyone, and Jake make a hard job. Chael too, everybody involved in this fight, and I promise I go do my best for make a good show for everyone here.
You know, guys, if we were to use history as our greatest trajectory to the future, I can remember about a year ago, in fact, Jake was on the card as a matter of fact, but Mike Tyson came back. I want to say he was 53 years old. Oscar de la Hoya starts talking about the same thing. People love to bring up the night that George Foreman, who I invoked earlier, won a world championship as 50. There was something significantly different. All of those athletes left the sport. They walked away. They weren't even going to events, let alone training. They didn't have kids that they were bringing up. They didn't still have goals of their own. That is not the situation with Anderson Silva. The man has never left the sport. He has never left the practice room. He got the jump on Chavez Jr. in Chavez's hometown. Now, you got to really whip a guy. We know the rules of boxing. You want to win a decision in a guy's hometown. Anderson, if you were to be victorious, if the odds makers have it right and you beat Jake Paul, and you're to look at what that sets you up for or where that moves you, what do you see?
Wow, you know, after the fight with Jake, I have to go to Dubai because my jiu-jitsu coach is there, and I go start training for my next challenge. You know, I go fight the jiu-jitsu tournament in Dubai, but my focus now is in this fight because this fight is very important for every single new generation, in my generation too. Why? Because I believe in one thing. You love something, you can do anything. You believe in yourself, you can do anything. That's I'm here today, you know, because I never stopped to believe in myself. And that's amazing because I come with this kid, you know. I have a picture with this kid when they baby, you know, and now I'm here with him, you know. I'm so lucky because I continue to do my best.
All right, Jake, when you walked out yesterday, we were in California, one of the first things that you said to this audience is you said, this is surreal. I look around, I see the cameras. I can't believe I'm here. My dream is coming true. I got Anderson on the same stage. It's now the second day. More experience. Day closer to October 29th. As the reality starts to set in, are you still in awe, or are you finding a motivation to beat this man?
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, these press conferences always give me motivation to take back to camp and to work hard. But it is surreal. You know, when I was standing on stage with them, recreating the picture with my brother yesterday, I almost flashed back to the moment when I was a kid. And I've said, like, you couldn't really write this in a movie. Like, I don't think a writer could have come up with this storyline the way everything's unfolded. So I've, you know, just had to sort of pinch myself, and it still really hasn't set in, to be quite honest, but I'm sure it will. But at the end of the day, you know, that this is what I'm good at, and come fight week, I'll be ready and do what I do best, which is fight.
Guys, we're going to throw over to a Q&A. Let all of you ask some questions. But I would like to tell you one thing for the people that are watching and they can't see the audience. We got Anderson the Spider shirts sitting over here. We got I see Bellator and UFC shirts over here. We got Jake Paul and some boxing fans over here. I think the one thing that we are all finding out is this is a fight. It's not about boxing. It's not about MMA. We could do it under EBI rules. He knows something called folk style rules. Doesn't make a darn bit of difference. A competition's a competition, one-on-one. And I just want to pay you guys credit. I see that the fight fans are coming over. Guys, before I turn Anderson, do you have something to... Do you have
No, I just...
Oh, a little... You're throwing a hello. All right. Got to make sure, you know. The Spider wants to talk. You got to let him talk. Guys, we do have something very exciting. Before we move to the audience questions, I'd like to introduce very special guest. We got a young man. He's been boxing since he was the age of 4. He is now 13. He's had 75 amateur boxing matches, aspirations of representing this country in the Olympic Games. He reached out. He wanted to know if he could meet Jake Paul today. That was his only question. Well, he and his 6-year-old brother have been following Jake Paul for virtually their entire lives. I don't think they were expecting this stage, but here we go. Please welcome 6-year-old Adonis and 13-year-old King David Garcia.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. That was good. Hey, that was good. How are you? Nice to meet you. Damn.
Let's come right up here. Let's do a photo.
Damn.
Guys, why did you come up here?
Did Floyd send you?
75 fights. Can we get a little shadow box, gentlemen? Can we just see? Huh? We see what 75 fights get you? All right, they're new here. They're not listening to me. They're in a little zone here. Anderson also, of course, invited to be in this photo.
Yeah, let's see
that
some
happens.
skills. Oh, wow.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. Let's go. Hey, Nikisa, you see this talent? Most valuable promotions, okay?
Hands look good, but how about the footwork for the two brothers? Let's give it up for them, guys. I must tell you, old Chael came here with a lot more to say, but I've never been interrupted more in my life. You guys are raring to go. You guys are ready to ask your own darn questions, and we got to give the audience what they want. Let's throw it over to you. Question number 1.
Any questions from the media?
There's
Questions?
a question right here. Okay, over here. Go ahead, state your name and your media outlet.
What's up, guys? I'm Dylan Rush with Fight Club. This one's for Jake. Typically, fighters bring in training and sparring partners that may emulate the style of their upcoming opponent. With Anderson's awkward, sometimes erratic striking patterns, how has your training regimen differed, if at all, than your previous camps?
Look, I always train like I'm fighting the best person in the world. We don't cut corners no matter who the opponent is. You never know what your opponent's going to bring to the ring, and you have to be prepared for the hardest test of your life. But we have a bunch of southpaw sparring partners in training camp who are doing their best to emulate his style. Obviously, it's super unique, but all of my fights pretty much have been up against MMA guys, so I'm sort of used to that differentiated style and different combinations and bigger punches and the unorthodox style. So I've always sort of been training for that.
Next question, please.
Richard Sines, Fox 10 Phoenix. This one's for Anderson. Obviously, everybody's talking about the risk he's taking stepping into the ring with someone like you, but what about the risk that you're taking? Because, you know, if you lose, it's definitely a mark on the legacy and the career that you've had.
Listen, everybody talking about that and say, oh, why you go fight with this young kid and it's not a real fighter or blah, blah, blah. It's not about lose or win. It's about how much I love this and how much I can continue doing this with the new generation, you know. And I don't think so. I go loose, but I'm loose. I don't think this go affect my legacy or something in my career. Definitely not, because everything is there, you know. And then one more thing. This is the proof I continue to do everything I do, because this man take me to the best fight in my life, you know, and beating me for 5 rounds and destroy me for 5 rounds. And I continue here because I love, you know. Nobody fight with Chael for 5 rounds and survive. And I'm lucky because I survive and I continue here. You know, I'm so happy. I'm a lucky guy.
And Jake, do you have a side bet? I know he doesn't like tattoos. You were talking about the spider tattoo. But so.
Come on, stop.
I'm gonna come up with one fight week. So stay tuned for fight week. I'll have
No.
I haven't thought of it yet.
No. Stop about tattoos, bro. Stop it.
Just a bet. We'll come up with a simple bet. Just something fun, like I don't know. It could be anything, like.
Because you're younger than me. You can't do anything. I'm not. Just stop. Stop.
All right, now, Anderson, you do understand. He's not saying you have to get a tattoo. He's just telling you if you beat him, he will get a tattoo. I just want to make sure you understand that.
I know you're my
You're
friend,
just
bro, but
anti-tattoo.
You don't
Okay.
need to put in the tattoo, but you like to put in the tattoo. Just
I was thinking about getting a spider tattoo, anyways.
all right, okay. But you know what? I think the better is you put on the picture between me and you and your brother.
Get that
That's
tattooed?
amazing. Yeah, that's amazing.
That'd be crazy.
No, it's not crazy. It's amazing.
Yeah, no,
You know?
it would be cool.
You know,
That's
I
what I'm
take the
saying.
picture. I take the picture and put on the frame in my house. Yeah.
Wow. My dad is digging. You signed an autograph for me too, and it's you did it with a pencil, and it's somewhere in my room, and so my dad is like trying to find the autograph. So I would make a frame too, like a boxing glove, the old autograph, the new picture, the old picture. It's gonna be
Nice.
iconic.
You need to send me the new picture.
I got you.
All right, perfect.
I've got it. I can help out with that. It's actually floating around social media, but if you haven't seen, it's actually quite interesting to see from.
I don't think
it's actually quite
Anderson goes on.
interesting.
I don't think Anderson. Do you go on Instagram a lot?
Yeah, I go a lot, and I follow you, man. Come on, I start follow you. You and your
I'll follow
brother.
you back.
And I stalk you. I start stalking you.
All right, guys, I got to ask you a question for me. We'll get right back to the media. But there has been a lot of talk this week. Please, if you can allow me to interrupt. There's been a lot of talk about this week, and I hear Nate Diaz's name being thrown around as it pertains to Jake. But there's 2 ways this fight can go. And Anderson, I'm just wondering from you, if you get the win, would you be interested? MVP will promote it. Showtime will be in conjunction. But would you be interested in Nate Diaz?
Wow. You know, I respect both. You know, I think the guys do an amazing job. I respect both. But my focus now is in this fight and to my tournament in Jiu-Jitsu in Dubai. And we'll see. Everything is possible, you know.
Over here.
Shaheen Ashadi with MMA Fighting. Jake, I'm just curious. There's a lot of talk this week or around this fight of this is surreal. You know, you were a fan of Anderson. We've talked about the photo. I just wonder if you went back and told that 14-year-old version of yourself, or however old you were, that dude, you're gonna be fighting Anderson freaking Silva one day. What would that guy think?
He wouldn't believe it, you know. He wouldn't believe anything that's transpired over the last 8 years of my career. You know, where I'm from, you're not supposed to be on this stage right now doing any of the things that I'm doing. You know, where I'm from, success isn't really a thing. You know, it's really, it's an environment where you grow up, you go to college, you get a 9-to-5 job, and then you get married and then live the rest of your life there. So, man, it doesn't make any sense. And this whole entire journey, I've just set dreams for myself and woke up every single day and just worked hard to accomplish them.
That being said, I mean, it is all surreal, I would imagine. But when you were with this man yesterday, you looked him in the eyes of that stare down. What did you see?
So yeah, he's really nice up here, but when I got in the stare down, he's got the killer mindset. Bro, it was a different Anderson that I was looking at for sure. And every fighter has that, right? You know, you could be as cordial as you want, but as soon as you get punched in the face, we're dogs, and that's what made him a champion. You know, he's not to be fucked with. He's a killer, and so don't let our camaraderie fool anyone here. Because we can be cordial outside of the ring. Like I said, we both respect each other. I just followed him on Instagram. I've never followed a fucking opponent before on Instagram. But as soon as that bell rings and we punch each other in the face, all of that goes out the window and it's going to be a war.
Next question.
Hey guys, Mark McClune, Arizona's family. Anderson for you, and then Jake, second half of this question. How was this fight being received in the UFC community, and what do you hope this fight does for purses long term there?
Well, I think for everybody this fight is amazing, you know, as is not only for UFC community or for MMA community, it's for everybody. You know, this show is for every single person to come in this city and watching this show. You know, it's not about represent the MMA community. It's not about this. It's about doing the big show and the best show for every single person come to this country and come to this city.
And then Jake, what do you hope purses long term a fight like this would?
Sorry, hairball. Man, I think this shows that people can make more money in boxing than they can in the UFC. And I hope that the UFC starts to pay fighters more. And this is a step in the right direction, but it's clear that all of their talent and roster is sort of chasing that. You know, why is Kamaru Usman begging to fight Canelo? You know, why does Conor want to fight Floyd again before making an MMA return? The list goes on. Why did Nate Diaz say he's going into boxing now? So yeah, hopefully this can increase purses in the UFC, increase the minimum fighter pay. I was willing to make a bet with Dana. You know, we can bet money, or we can bet that if I win, you have to increase the minimum fighter pay. If I lose, I'll give him money or whatever. But I think this is just proving that there's a new business model in the sport, and hopefully we can help fighters get paid more.
In the front, please.
Hey, Jake. This is Jordan Conradson with Gateway Pundit here. I wanted to ask you a question more related to your social media presence. So you said you're the guy that everybody wants to silence. Obviously they can't when you have millions of followers on social media and an undefeated record in the ring. What do you think of attempts to censor Americans by big tech companies and the current occupant of the White House? That was a little.
Yeah, no, it was an interesting question. I think it's a good question. I think the state of our society is in a really interesting place and a bad place at that. simply put, man, I don't think there should be censorship, right? Freedom of speech, Second Amendment, and the fact that these privately held companies can just take someone right off of their platform is fucked up. And the scary part about it is even speaking up against them, like I am currently doing, could get me censored. So we really don't have real, true freedom of speech anymore, which is scary. And personally, you just seen Mark Zuckerberg admit to it live on Joe Rogan. So, and the news wasn't really talked about. So, all of these media platforms have controlled narratives by people who are paying them in their pockets.
And then Anderson, I know you came from Brazil. You supported President Bolsonaro. Did you ever think that coming to, did you not? No?
Continue.
Did you ever think that coming to America, you would see censorship of freedom of speech?
Okay, so the first of all, I'm no support the police system, and I come to live in this country 12 years ago with my kids, and because my sport opened this door for me. Now I live here and I try to do my best every day to prove why I'm here. I think the people think something wrong about me, because that's I talk to my kids every day. Now you live in United States, but you don't born in United States. When you come here, you need to prove why you're here, why you come to this country. You can't come here, you have a whole support, I'm working hard, you have a school, you have everything. You can not do your best. And that's I continue to do my best to prove why I'm here in this country. I can't come here and do nothing, come loser, because I take the space for the other people, the people born here. And that's I do my best every day. But I don't support the government because I don't believe this is a good thing, The one guy, one day maybe I support is Che when he come the president. Yes.
Very sweet. That's a good vote, Anderson. Thank you. Next question. Hopefully, we have a little lighter subject. But we got some fight fans out here. Sharp-dressed man in row number 2, please.
Blake Beasley, Tunnel Vision Sports, and I have a question for Jake and then following for Anderson. Jake, you clearly have a lot of admiration for Anderson as a fighter. Is there any other legendary fighter you'd like to see in the ring someday?
Mike Tyson. That'd be crazy. Yeah, and I have so much respect for him. He's another one of my idols. And I think he said he wanted to do the fight. Mike, where you at, bro? You said it on Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel or one of the Jimmys. So let's make it happen.
And then Anderson, there's a 22-year gap between you and Jake. How do you think your experience will play into this fight?
Well, I think the age is on the numbers. I think my experience go help me a lot to doing my job inside the ring.
Hey, all right, guys, it's that time. We're going to clear them out of the way. We're going to face them off. Thank you all very much. We will see you on October 29th.